It's my honor to introduce our next esteemed guest, Ms. Sabita Geer from India. She is UN representative at Brahmakumari's World Spiritual University in New York for the past 6 years. Her work is based on understanding that real change begins with a shift in awareness facilitated by a spiritual-based approach called Raj Yoga. Sister Sabita is practicing student and teacher of this art of yoga for over 40 years. She mentors and initiates youth, women and men in many projects related to UN Sustainable Development Goals. She has conducted courses, facilitated workshops and retreats in the Caribbean, UK, India, Middle East and many states across the US. She has been a representative of Brahmakumaris in the US for last 22 years. She is also very passionate about climate change. She feels that her purpose on this earth lies in upholding the principles of truth and non-violence in her life while serving the world to make it a better place to live in. Using peaceful building methods in 110 countries, the Brahmakumaris supported the UN 2030 agenda and the SDGs. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Ms. Sabita Geer.
Sabita ji, so nice to see you again. We met in Mount Abu and it was a memorable visit seeing you. And the topic here for you is sustainable development and spiritual values, preserving the planet as sacred. All stage is yours for next 14 minutes. You're most welcome.
Hello, Vikramji. It is indeed my pleasure to be here again with all of you. And it was a wonderful panel that I just listened to. And sisters and brothers, I prepared a presentation for you all. You may hear some repeats from what you just heard by that beautiful, esteemed panel. So namaskar to all of you anyway, and greetings of peace, Om Shanti. It's my honor to share with you some thoughts on the sustainable development and spiritual values preserving our planet as sacred, particularly as we celebrate this International Day of Peace. So what is sustainable development? According to the United Nations, sustainable development is how we must live today if we want a better tomorrow, by meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs, unquote. The survival of our societies and our planet hinges on adopting a more sustainable approach. This reminds me actually of the Juggling Act, where there are 3 essential balls: economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. And if any of these falls, the balance is lost and the act is over. Similarly, rapid economic growth, for instance, is unproductive if it leaves many in poverty and if it exhausts natural resources. Sustainable development ensures that everyone has access to decent work, quality healthcare, and education, while minimizing environmental pollution and resource depletion. It promotes policies that prevent discrimination and disadvantages. The urgency of sustainable development is evident. We are surrounded by it. According to UN statistics, globally, higher incomes often correlate with a better quality of life. However, this type of development is unsustainable. Why? As we look across the world, where have we moved over the past century, probably? It led us to climate change, environmental destruction, conflict, poverty, hunger, vast inequalities. And we heard a little earlier, one of the main inequalities is between men and women, gender equality. and social instability. Unsustainable practices, unfortunately, prioritize short-term gains over long-term harm. It is when people pursue immediate rewards without thinking about the harms that this would cause to other people or to the planet. For example, deforesting areas for immediate profit at the expense of the ecosystems, endangered species, and local communities vulnerable to floods. Many times devastating. And we've all witnessed this, we're witnessing it. So, where are we today? We are at this confluence of what was and what will be, and here we are. In this moment, we must pause and take a comprehensive look to evaluate our current path and reconsider the intent behind our decision-making processes. As Dadi Janki, who is the former head of the Brahma Kumaris, she once told us, and I quote, "If you always think the same, you will always get to the same place. Think in a new way, and you will be a new person with renewed choices," unquote. This tells us that a fundamental shift is required. Transformation that begins within each of us. And this shift is needed now. And there is no better time than now. So, what is this shift, this fundamental shift that is so needed, and how does it work, or how will it work? When we focus on our inner state, we begin to sense the emergence of something fresh and original that signals a new order. We are then moved to sustain these new possibilities. The emergence of a new future starts inside individuals. So it means that we have to go, each and every one of us, have to allow ourselves to go within and tap into that inner core and allow this shift to take place so that these new possibilities begin to emerge. Now, this internal shift in thinking, which is grounded in spiritual principles and universal values, must be then reflected in policy making. These spiritual principles and values are essential for sustainable development because they emphasize our interconnectedness and our interdependencies. They remind us of the fundamental truths, such as we are spiritual beings on a human journey. We are not here to exploit nature for material gains, but to live harmoniously with it. To transform the external world, we must first transform our internal world. If there is to be peace attained, we must start with inner peace. Inner stability and the eradication of internal corruption are prerequisites for world peace, security, and stability. As it is said, if war can be born in the minds of men and women, peace can also be born in the minds of men. So we must commit to return to our original state of peace and nonviolence if we want to live in a world of happiness and abundance. By aligning with our inner self, we cultivate qualities like peace, nonviolence, compassion. This inner alignment profoundly impacts our decisions, allowing us to see the broader picture and to make choices that respect dignity, nature, and are inclusive. Such decisions contribute to a more equitable and prosperous future, as you can imagine. Now, this internal shift of awareness to action that then creates the world we want is called a spiritual trajectory. I love this. I love this term and this whole phenomenon because it is very powerful and it is what I can say values neutral. If I have the awareness that I am a thief, it shifts my attitude towards people, the way we look at everything, the choices we make, and thereby the actions we perform, and the world we create around us. If I have the awareness, I want, and this came up a lot, satisfying our greed, then again, it will shift our attitude and the decisions we make, and we end up exploiting our world to satisfy those greeds. On the other hand, if I have the thought that we are all interconnected, we are one, we are together here on this earth to enjoy happiness, etc., love, etc., then look at our attitude shift and the kind of choices I will make and the world we create. Along with that, our connections span ourselves, each other, Mother Nature, and the divine. Valuing this spiritual trajectory and our interconnectedness with ourselves, each other, nature, and the divine is crucial for meaningful change. This practice of aligning with our core principles allows us to focus more on what's of benefit for all people and the planet, ourselves included. And this has been my personal practice and experience. You may wonder how this applies amidst our daily challenges. At the Brahma Kumaris, we practice a technique called traffic control of the mind, or pause for peace, every hour. This includes taking a moment to breathe deeply, realign with our inner self, and return to our task with renewed vision and attitude. This practice is adaptable to any moment in our day, even at the most challenging times. While our world leaders grapple with sustainable policies, we do not need to wait for them to create a better world. Each of us can contribute, whether in government or civil society, business or daily life. Simple choices like walking, cycling instead of driving, recycling, composting, not wasting food or water or other resources. These simple everyday things can make a difference. Taking time to spend in nature, gardening, or cooking a meal at home rather than eating out or ordering a delivery. These choices can go a far way to building healthier relationships. And I always believe happy people create a happy world. Even following a vegetarian lifestyle can contribute to securing a sustainable future. The biggest question we have to ask ourselves is, after saying all of that, The question is, are we prepared to live with less? It is when we feel we need more that we then choose to consume more. Otherwise, Mother Earth has produced enough to meet our needs and not to fulfill our greed. As we strive for simpler, not poor, but simpler yet elevated lifestyle, remember, a simple life with elevated awareness is real greatness. A simple life with elevated awareness is real greatness. An elevated awareness comes from the understanding that I am more than this material form. I am light. I'm the soul. I'm the life force within this material form. I'm the one making all the decisions. Let me choose to do this while being true to myself. Let me remember that I have the ability to make all choices, including choosing the quality of our thoughts, of my own thoughts. When we learn this art of realigning with our inner truth, then look at the issue at hand while honestly asking ourselves, what is the best forward? What is the best way forward here? Let me listen with compassion to understand. Let me put our own selfishness aside. When we do these things, chances are we will make better decisions that are inclusive of all living beings and respectful of the environment and its natural resources. This, I'm sure, will contribute to economic growth where all have decent work, can enjoy quality life, health care. Our kids get proper education. We can have peace, security, and justice. In conclusion, I would like to share a quote from Kalidasa. Yesterday is a dream. Tomorrow is a vision. But every today well lived will make every yesterday a dream of happiness. Every tomorrow a vision of hope. And every today a present. And finally, I would like to take a minute for us to practice this pause for peace, because again, it is practice. We can't wait for when the crisis knock at our door that we try to grapple, oh, we have to, do something like what the world is doing today. They're grappling to find solutions. So we need to practice this pausing regularly so that I am well equipped to do it at the time of need. Along with your daily meditation practices, etc., this pausing momentarily throughout the day really supports our meditation practice. So let us just put everything aside, all thoughts, all everything. And just take a deep breath in, go inward, reconnect with your seat of consciousness behind the eyes. See yourself as that beautiful light. Feel your own light, the light that radiates calm, peace, the light that brings inner clarity. Observe how your breath is deep and regular, and your body is relaxed. Mind is quiet. And And now, take another deep breath in and release as you bring your thoughts back to the field of action, holding yourself in that inner space of light, of peace. And let this energy now guide you forward and onward. Thank you. And Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Sabita ji. It is very soulful, whatever you shared about sustainability. And you mentioned that a spiritual trajectory is needed, and to make new choices and sustainable choices. You taught us how to pause for peace, and before deciding things, think of global benefit. You gave us some tips that walking, cycling, recycling, and asking a question that are we prepared to live for less? Simple life with elevated awareness is real greatness. We'll remember this message. Thank you very much, Sabita.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Sabita Geer for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.